listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, original people reciprocity, and original people positivity. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. The Narrative Podcast promotes positive reinforcement of original people and original people culture. The Narrative Podcast provides positive frames of reference about original people and original people culture. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. So, here we are on a Friday evening. This week really went by super quick. Seems like September is right around the corner. It's going to zip on by and nothing flat. Scientists are actually saying that we're losing 60 seconds. Something about the Earth's axis or whatever. I don't know. But it does feel like the days are getting shorter. But anyway, welcome to the Narrative Podcast. Got a pretty good show for you tonight. It's going to be super quick tonight. I mean, my goal is for my weekday episodes to not really exceed an hour. And I think I'll probably be hitting my mark this evening because there's not just, as far as like current events to talk about. But anyway, I'm going to dive right on into the content. Before that, just want to say, a special congratulations. Brother Eddie Griffin, he is his new project. He's lending his voice to an animated series called Black Sands. Black Sands basically is like a comedic version of Dragon Ball Z. It takes place in ancient Egypt, and the characters are diverse and all ensemble cast and actually spot on with the representation, because these characters are actually original people, black. So there's not too many like Egyptian movies with actual, black actors, but it's a cartoon. They're all voice actors. All the cartoon characters in that series, are voiced by black actors, and Eddie Griffin is the newest member to the cast and lend his voice. I'm excited for it. I'm checking out. I've been to the site a couple times. I've been seeing little clips circulating online, so I can't wait for it to drop. So yeah, shout out to Eddie Griffin. So yeah, so all my narrators, they already know the demonstration. They already know, what the Narrative Podcast entails and what it's all about. But for everybody else, how I usually start things off, I walk you through a brief overview of the platform before diving into the content, and that's what I'm going to do. But lately, I just found out I save even more time because I usually plug all my projects towards the end or at the very end. But lately I've been doing it at the beginning. So I'm going to plug all my projects, and then I'm going to walk you through an overview of the Narrator Podcast, and then dive into the content this evening. So starting at the top, the first thing I want to plug, obviously, is the platform, the Narrator Podcast. What I need you to do to support the platform is download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast. Be aware, I broadcast 2 to 3 times during the weekday, and then once on the weekend. And to stay current with the latest episode, with the latest upload of the Narrative Podcast, follow me on YouTube and follow me on X. And you want to follow me on those two mediums because this platform that I'm broadcasting on automatically uploads to YouTube and X. So follow me on YouTube. I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube. That's my viewer channel. Hit the subscribe button, notification button, all, and then go into my videos, and you will see all the episodes of the Narrator Podcast in chronological order. They're saved publicly, so you should be able to access them. And on YouTube, share all episodes of the Narrator Podcast on whatever platform you would like. Now on X, you got a little bit more options. When you follow me on X, I stay good at Halsey Allen on X, and you should see my book title pinned at the top of my page, the black card. That's how you know you got the right page. What you want to do when you go to X is click on the Narrative Podcast link, and then you will it'll open up and you will see all these options to do. So when you go to X, click on the Narrative Podcast link, and then you should see, after the link opens up, you should see a download button. That's an arrow pointing down. And so I need you guys to click on that. And then next to that arrow, you will see a like button in the shape of a heart. Click that. And then also a comment box next to the like button. Leave me a comment. Pretty please and thank you. And then the final thing for the algorithm is share. Share, the link to the Narrative Podcast, or, the actual episode on, whatever platform that you like to share things on. But, so again, with the options, download, like, comment, and share. And then rudimentary basics you should know to actually listen to the episode. But okay, I just humor you. Also, before you do all those other options, click the link and actually listen to the latest episode of the Narrative Podcast. So listen, download, like, comment on, and share the Narrative Podcast across all platforms. Well, whatever you do, if you don't do anything else, click the download button. And again, you can do all those options if you follow me on X. On YouTube, it just has the episode, the latest episode. It doesn't have all those options on YouTube. But, of course, hit the like button on YouTube. And then subscribe to my channel, and then share all the episodes across all platforms. So that's how you support the Narrative Podcast. My next project I would like to plug is a book of poetry I've written titled The Black Card. The Black Card is a 30-page book of poetry written by yours truly, me, Halsey Allen. And what it's about, it's a reflective look at us as a people, everything we experience, everything we've endured, everything we've gone through and currently going through. both positive and negative. Just 30 ensemble poems that are reflective of us as a people. So that's what the Black Card is all about. It's a day in the life of / open letter / journal / journey / a whole lot of slashes, but / survival guide / how to. It's all those things. If you're an original man or original woman, you'll automatically, be drawn to the Black Card. All the poems in it will resonate with your spirit. You will be connected to it immediately upon reading it. So to purchase the Black Card, currently it's only available on one medium, and that's poetizer.com. So head on over to poetizer.com, and what you want to do is go look in their virtual online bookstore and look for my title, The Black Card, in poetizer.com's virtual online bookstore. And if you're unfamiliar with poetizer.com, what it is, it's a social media platform for writers. It's a social media platform for writers, and they also offer self-publishing services. So basically, it's a social media networking site for aspiring writers. They can share their work on there. They can interact with each other, talk to each other, follow, kind of something like Facebook. You can follow another writer. They also have little rooms with writing prompts for the different genres of writing. So like say, the short story room, today's prompt, write a story about a little brown dog. And then, in the novel room, it'd be like, write a novel about romance or something like that. And then like in the poetry room, today's writing prompt, write a poem about butterflies, stuff like that. So it's like I said, it's a social media platform for aspiring writers, all genres, short stories, essay writing, novel writing, and of course poetry. And that's what the platform is geared towards, is poets. It's in the name, poetizer.com. But it's a great platform. They offer self-publishing tools for aspiring writers. And so that's what I did. I utilized their self-publishing services to write my book, The Black Card. And so go on over to poetizer.com, go to the virtual online bookstore, and purchase my book, The Black Card, or get your Black Card revoked. The next thing I would like to plug before diving into the synopsis of the Narrator Podcast is my personal poetry blog on blogger.com. And what that is, it's a collection of my pretty much innermost stylings of my art form. If you're unfamiliar with blogger.com is just a blog site, and you can blog about anything, random topics. You can blog about whatever you want to blog about on Blogger. Fashion, travel, whatever you're into. I just happen to be into poetry, and so I blog all my poems on blogger.com. And, it's a pretty good site. I think the thing that makes my poetry unique is posted on there. Number one, They're spontaneously written. I just write all of them off the cuff. I don't have a rhyme or reason. I don't contemplate on the subject matter. I don't contemplate on what I'm going to title each piece posted on blogger.com. I just simply write it and post it like in the moment, like as it pops into my head. You know, that's, what's featured on there. Another unique thing about my poetry is its versatility. It's so relatable. It's just a wide array of different topics, different modes, different feels to each piece. As a reader, you're guaranteed to resonate with either a portion of one of those poems or relate to the entire piece. So, my poetry on blogger.com is for everybody, from all walks of life, whatever you're going through in life. I got a poem on there for you. As a matter of fact, the tagline for my poetry blog is Hallzies Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. And when you read any of the poems posted on blogger.com, you'll see that my poems live up to that title. And so again, to not get confused, the name of my poetry blog is called Hallzies Poetry Corner. I'm Halsey, I write poems, so it makes sense. Hallzies Poetry Corner. So go check that out today. Hallzies Poetry Corner on blogger.com at www.mrhalziesblogs.com. And the way you support the platform is to share the link to Hallzies Poetry Corner, which is www.mrhalziesblogs.com, or share a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner across all platforms. And then you can also go to the link and like the poetry. It's a little, the like button is heart-shaped, so click on that heart-shaped like button. And then also, please leave me a comment when you get to the site, Hallzies Poetry Corner. So each piece has a little comment box underneath them. You can leave me a comment under all, my poems featured on there. Now, I did not write a poem today, but I'll probably be in the spirit to write one tomorrow. Like, guys, I don't force these poems, so like sometimes, my posting, it'll be like 2 to 3 month dips. I don't force them. Like I said, I just, I spontaneously write, poems in the moment. So like if I don't got nothing posted, I wasn't feeling nothing. But I guarantee you, when you go to the site, you will enjoy it. You will relate to it. The poetry will resonate with you. So check that out. Hallzies Poetry Corner on blogger.com at www.mrhalziesblogs.com. Do it today and not tomorrow. Well, it might be tomorrow by the time this episode gets out, because I'm recording pretty late in the evening. But anyway, whatever you do, go check it out. Hallzies Poetry Corner on blogger.com. So that's all my projects that I feel I need to plug. I'm working on a whole bunch more, but those are pretty much my ongoing poems. Ongoing projects, pardon me. But yeah. So now about the Narrator Podcast. Let's start at the top. Tippy, the name. I named my podcast the Narrator Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original people culture. The media is very deceptive and divisive in how they portray and depict our images and our likenesses to, the rest of the world. They portray us as violent, ignorant, lazy, unintelligent, not well-to-do for self. They basically always, every time we're on the news or in a movie or wherever, they're using our images and likenesses. It's like we're down bad, we're disenfranchised, we don't have anything positive going for ourselves. We're always complaining, or just, all the things that are propagated about our people, all the negative stereotypes about our people. The media just constantly keeps on churning out the stereotypes and stigmas, and they broadcast them widely and consistently on an everyday basis. So this is probably essentially why I'm doing this podcast, just to basically to dispel and dismiss all these negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and our culture. Hence the title, the Narrator Podcast. I'm changing the narrative with the content that I'm presenting on this platform, which is a perfect segue for my tagline, the Narrator Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original people culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. That's what the Narrator Podcast is entirely about, providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, also offering positive reinforcements of our people and our culture, and just highlighting and celebrating all our accomplishments, all our achievements, everything we do right as a people, everything we have contributed to society and the world. I just really, this is really a safe space and a hub for, all things excellent coming out of our community. That's what, I'm here for. I'm also here to enlighten and bring awareness to the listening audience of why it's important to responsibly utilize your platforms to share positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, and then to also encourage people to share positive frames of reference about our people and our culture on their respective media platforms. So that's what the Narrator Podcast is all about. That's my mission statement. Next thing you should be aware of about the Narrator Podcast, as I refer to my target listening audience as my narrators. And so, why do I call my target listening audience my narrators? Is basically acknowledging the times that we're living in. We're living in the digital information age. We accumulate, gather, share, socialize, interact with each other. Pretty much everything is done digitally and done online. So, whatever you're doing digitally, usually whatever digital platform, you occupy, they have a bio section. In the bio section, you just give a brief summary of yourself, and you chronicle all your things, your hobbies, interests, turn-ons, turn-offs, whatever you want people to know about yourself. You share. You tell that in the bio section, and then after your bio section is completed, you upload content reflective of what's in your bio section. That accentuates everything that you say you're into in your bio section. That's generally how digital media works, social media works these days. And generally, when you're doing that, you're sharing the best possible version of whatever's in your bio section. So essentially, you're telling or narrating your own story. And so that's why I call my target listening audience my narrators. Because I believe as a people, we should tell or narrate our own stories. We should be telling our own stories from a positive perspective. We should be sharing and uploading content, the best versions of ourselves. We should be uploading content that is reflective of who we are, who we truly are as a people. And who are we truly as a people? Who are we truly as a people? We're kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe. We don't, we're not portrayed in that, light by the media. So, we should do it. We should take the initiative and, whatever platform you occupy, if you are a content creator, you should be sharing content that is reflective of, who you are, who you truly are, your true essence, your true origin, your true nature. So that's why I call my target listening audience my narrators. I'm just saying, that's just me saying, share the best possible version of yourself. Tell or narrate your own story. Because if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this. If you don't tell your own story will be told for you. And the story being told about our people by the media is a negative story. They're telling this tale of gangbangers. They're telling the tale of people who are just naturally criminalistic. They glorifying violence. They glorifying pimp culture. They're glorifying hoe culture. They're glorifying drug dealing and drug using. So they're perpetuating all these negative stereotypes and stigmas, about our people and about our community. So it should be up to us as a people to, bring it back into focus by, uploading content that's more realistic and more true to who we are as a people, as opposed to embracing these negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media has placed over us. While we cannot control what people outside of our culture, how they view it, how they view us, what they think about us, how they interact with us, how they engage us, we can't control any of that. They're only judging us by the negative frames of reference that they've been provided by the media. All we can do is control our digital spaces. We can't control, the type of content, that the media feeds everybody else, but we can control, our own content, what we upload and what we choose to, interact with and engage in. So that's why I call my target listening audience my narrators. That's just what I mean by that. That's how we can change the narrative about, the way we're portrayed in media outlets, various media outlets. That's what I mean when I call when I say, my narrators. Next order of business, not to be redundant, but the Narrator Podcast is a positive space for our people. I don't engage in negativity, gossip, slander, name calling, roasting, talking bad about brothers and sisters. I'm just here to uplift and edify, our people, provide positive reinforcement, provide positive frames of reference, about our people and our culture. I'm not here to, you know, tear down anybody. I'm just here to uplift people and, you know, make this a safe space for our people to, you know, engage one another and enjoy positive content. We don't have a lot of spaces where, you know, the content is positive. You know, it got to come with some messiness. It's drama. It's, you know, it's name calling. It's finger pointing. Like, we get enough of that. So Narrative Podcast is a space where, you know, you can just kind of hang out, chill, and be just proud of yourself for a moment. Proud of your people. Just realizing how far we've progressed and feel happy about all the positive things that we're doing as a people, as opposed to always, you know, seeing death, destruction, and chaos surrounding us. This dark cloud looming over our people all the time. You know, that's what this space is dedicated towards. It's just a silver lining, that warm fuzzy, that, like, you know, just that reassurance that, you know, we are progressing, we are winning, you know, we are succeeding in life. That's what the Narrative Podcast symbolizes. So it's a safe space. I don't, you know, I really try to discourage engaging in gossip, discourage my listening audience to, you know, not use their platforms to promote gossip and slander of our people. Because as I said earlier, you know, that's what the media's job is, to provide negative frames of reference about our people and our culture. But in that same breath, the media also is a business. You see? So, you know, if we don't engage in this negative content, if we don't appear to be interested, they will stop creating it. Because the first rule of business is supply and demand. There has to be a need for it. And unfortunately, our people is creating the need for degeneracy. It's like we're craving to be represented in a negative way. So it's up to each and all of us to, you know, say, hey, no, I don't want to see gangbanger #1 in this movie. I don't want to see prostitute 3 in this television show. We just have to reclaim our essence. You know, it sounds easy, but, you know, like nothing in life, everything comes with hard work. So it's just going to take all of us focusing, staying on code, staying on task, and, you know, upsetting that algorithm. But anyway, like I said, the Narrative Podcast is a safe space. I don't engage in any negative gossip, banter, slander. No negative isms about our people. That I don't like participate in that at all. So it's just a positive, feel-good space. Now, however, this also is, I profess this to be a place of truth. I do keep it real on here, and I do keep it unapologetically real. Like, I don't sugarcoat anything. If somebody within our culture is, you know, intentionally embracing and playing up negative stereotypes for monetary gain, I will call said individual out on those type of buffoonish answers. But other than that, I mind my own business, and mind the business is paying me, and currently that is staying positive. I also speak about current events, so I do in every single episode of the Narrator Podcast address whatever is going on in the world. I unpack it from our perspective, whatever is going on in the world from our perspective. And the reason why I do that is just basically because the media have us, looking and sounding crazy. So I just unpack it from our perspective as an attempt to, reclaim our power and just put it up from a bigger perspective. And pretty much anything negative happening in our community, especially when a famous person from our community, somebody really prolific, has a polarizing platform, who is a public figure or entertainer, that's currently involved in something negative, like a good 80 or 90% of the time, you can trace whatever negativism that they're involved in. You can trace it back to two things. You can trace it back to systemic oppression and psychological programming and conditioning. And that's how I really break down, whatever is, going on with somebody within our community. Whatever they're going through that's negative, that's how I frame it up when I'm delivering my commentary on current events involving our people. So that's be the only time I actually name drop or say somebody's famous name to address, whatever is going on with them. It's not to kick them down, slander them, or try to clout chase or nothing like that. It's just breaking it down from that perspective. And then also the Narrator Podcast is a time-sensitive platform. I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast, and the purpose of me doing that is just really to keep the listening audience engaged. This is an all-audio platform. It's very easy to get bored listening to somebody talk. So I gotta, make it as interesting as possible to keep the listening audience focused and attentive to the content that I'm sharing, and then also to help myself from not becoming redundant and just keep myself from being like monotone and cut back on the redundancy. Because, when you just talk with no agenda, with no speaking points, what one tends to do is ramble. And so I don't want to ramble and I don't want to rant. I want my message to be very clear. I want my content to be very concise and my message digestible. And the best way to do that is to just basically shoot from the hip, keep it short, sweet, brief, and to the point, and not just talk with no end in sight. So, that's why I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast. So if I do go over an hour, it's not by much, it's probably like 10 or 20 minutes. But when you're listening to it, it really won't even sound like that. It'll just sound like, if anything, 45 minutes with all the ads that they put in. But anyway, so yeah, the Narrator Podcast is a time-sensitive platform. And last but not least, I refer to my target listening audience, my audience, people that, listen to this platform, my people, my demographic that I'm projecting all the content towards, I refer to them as original people. What do you mean by original people? Our people, melanated people, Negro, black, people possessing the Negroid gene. Tracing our lineage back to the original point of civilization. Our people, original people. So why do I refer to our people as original people? For two reasons. One, it's historically accurate, and then two, it unifies us as a people. So what do I mean by it's historically accurate? We were and are the original beings of this planet. We was here thousands of years before every single person, every single group of people. We superseded everybody. So not only was we here first, we invented pretty much everything first. We originated everything. Like every modern day invention, we originated that. We originated teaching. We originated pretty much mathematics, science, astronomy, astrology, biology, chemistry. Pretty much any thing you can learn, we originated, all ancient forms of it. So everything came from us, the people that was here first. That's what I mean by original on the historic side of it. And then sub-point that I want to tack on to that I do every episode. I just want to dispel the false narrative about slavery. The historians try to highlight slavery as the most definitive time period for our people. They want to try to make slavery the most important time frame of our people. And the reality is, being original, being here first, we had a whole identity thousands of years before anybody was ever even thinking about enslaving anybody. We were kings and queens. We ruled all we surveyed. And we were kind, just rulers. We didn't try to force our beliefs on anybody. We didn't try to make them believe what we believe. We never try to strip anybody of their dignity, their morality. We never raped anybody. We never stole nothing. We never left a wake of chaos and destruction on every landmass that we ever touched upon like some other people did. But yet, they tried to make slavery the most definitive time of our existence. When in reality, like I said, we was here thousands of years before everybody, which means we was on every part of the globe before everybody. And we didn't get to all of them places via slave boats. We already indigenously existed on every single corner of the globe you can think of. Like, we voluntarily left the one spot that we were at on our own free will, not on slave boats, especially here in the Americas. So while some of us did come here on slave boats, while, chattel slavery, different parts of, Spanish-speaking nations They did, but the majority of them, the majority of all of us, we was already there in any like place you can name. We was like a large concentration of us was already there. It don't even really make sense when you think about it. They just all these different explorers from different places kept going to one point and getting one specific group of people to take back to their native land. You mean the Spanish people and the Europeans? They just kept on going back to Africa, getting African slaves for hundreds of years. That don't even make sense. They sailed all the way from their native land for hundreds of years, going back getting African slaves, or did they just simply enslave people in these places that they air quotes discovered? Doesn't that make more sense? But anyway, it's just like a big thing. The main reason why they do it is fear programming, trying to fear programming / trauma conditioning. They want to keep us in a fearful state of mind. They don't ever want us questioning authority, and they darn sure don't ever want us rising up to overthrow authority. So they want to just keep on perpetuating the scared, docile slave. When in reality, every single time period, that all throughout slavery, we rose up in rebellion. What you think, we only had one Nat Turner? You think we only had one Harriet Tubman? We rebelled and resisted all throughout slavery. And we was a whole lot of slavers' worst nightmares that made them regret ever putting us in chains. You know, they was here in America decapitating slave masters' heads. That wasn't just in Haiti. We shook America up pretty bad too. But anyway, so that's why I refer to our people as original people from the historical standpoint of it. And the next reason why I refer to our people as original people is to unify us as a people, because there are so many, we're so diverse and so complex. There's so many different types of us, hailing from so many different land masses, speaking so many different languages. We look different, we sound different, we believe in different things, but for all our differences, we still have a whole lot of things in common too. First and foremost, we all have large concentrations of carbon, aka melanin. We can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for all of civilization. And we all share an unspoken bond. Like we're all rebelling against the same, form of oppression, just in different ways. It's more severe in some parts, in other parts, but overall, we're the same. Overall, we're the same. Because people outside of our culture, they just look at us. They don't call us by our nationality. They just say, you black. They don't say Afro-Latino or Latina X. They just say black. They don't say, first of all, there ain't an Afro nothing. Like I said, it's just original indigenous people. But they don't say, Afro-Asian or none of that. They just call us black and get it over with, and I think the perfect term, the more appropriate term would be original people. The ones that started civilization, and the ones that originated pretty much every modern day invention you can think of. I think that's a more, accurate term to describe us as a people. Because it's so inclusive, it's like universal. No matter where you're at in the world, you can refer to yourself as an original person. And it's deeper, it's more gratifying, it's more impactful, it's stronger. So that's why I refer to our people as original people here on the Narrator Podcast. You can refer to yourself as anything you want to. You can say you're Negro. You can say you African American. You can say you Haitian. You can say you Trini. You can say you whatever you want to say. You identify yourself as. But here on my platform, I refer to our people as original people. So got that out the way. You're all caught up to speed about the Narrator Podcast. All the nuances of the Narrator Podcast. And I'm going to dive on into the content. So this is a weekday edition. I have two format styles, a weekday edition and a weekend edition. So during the weekday, I have 2 sections. On the weekend, I have 5. Whatever format style, the mission statement is to share positive frames of reference. And the positive frames of reference that I share about our people and our culture during the weekday come in the form of news articles. And I feel it's important to share positive news articles because we're constantly being bombarded with negative news articles all during the week. Like everything in the news is negative. Like nothing positive. Somebody's getting unalive. Somebody's going to jail. Somebody's just on the losing end of whatever. And like I said, it's intentionally done. They know what they're doing when they do that. They're suggesting negative isms and negativity to your subconscious. They're trying to embed and implant that negative I can't into your subconscious. It's kind of like popcorn in movie theaters. You don't know why you crave it, you just do. So a lot of us, when you see us and we're just like operating at a dysfunctional level, it's because they've introduced the popcorn in the movie theater, the negativity, the degeneracy. We gravitate towards that. We don't know quite why we want to be portrayed like that, but we know we want to be portrayed like that, and we want to act out on these negative stereotypes and stigmas. So that's why, I share positive news articles during the weekday to counter that systemic programming and conditioning, to upset the balance, just prove that positive things happen in our community. So that's the purpose of me sharing the positive news articles. And without any further ado, I'm going to dive into the positive news articles on this weekday edition of the Narrative Podcast. First positive news article this week on the Narrative Podcast, the headline reads, 10-year-old girl breaks record, writes longest novel, 58,000 words. And the young sister's name she is Nigerian, so pardon me if I mispronounce her name. Hefizabah Ekenwale, HEPHZIBAH KINWALE. She is a Nigerian, but she is currently living overseas. She is living, I believe, in the believe she's out in England. She's currently attending East Cambridge C of E Primary School. So I don't know, their grade levels over there, but she's C of E. And the name of her book is called Shine My Crown. Or actually, pardon me. So that was the website where her story was featured on, was Shine My Crown. But her actual book is on Amazon. Her book title, and it's called Chronicles of the Timekeepers Whisked Away. And what it's about is it's basically a young girl having prophetic dreams, and it's like a quest type book type deal. It's really super complex and next level considering her age. There's not too many adults that can write at that level, read at that level, let alone write at that level. But to culminate, that literary piece of artwork where she's like, conceptualizing the spiritual realm. Essentially, that's what the book is about. She's entering a different realm through, her dream state. She's in the dream state. But yeah, very impressive. She's on 11, so of course good things is coming for her, this young sister around the corner. She's already working on her second one. So yeah, very impressive indeed. Let's give a warm Narrator Podcast round of applause for our young sister. I'm saying her name wrong. Please forgive me. I can't even shorten it. Hafiza Akinwale. All right. Next article on the Narrator Podcast. The headline reads, several months after being placed on life support, author Moses Maddox released inspirational book. The article did not list the name of the book, but it was still an impressive article, and I just thought I would share that, as I share positive frames of reference. There's nothing more positive than somebody triumphing in the face of adversity, especially after having that horrendous of an ordeal. So let's give a warm Narrator Podcast round of applause for our brother Moses Maddox. And last but not least, here on the Narrator Podcast, the last positive news article this week. Boston man developed the ultimate basketball network mobile app. And the brother's name is Jack Humsey. He currently is the CEO of Bill Marcos Incorporated, and then the name of the app is called check-in hoops app, and basically it's just if you're a basketball fanatic, all the stats, all the players, all the stats, all the games, all the times, both conferences. That's what the app is all about. It's real cutting edge, innovative, available on Google Play for Android, and then Apple for iPhone. Free app, so go check that out. There's all kind of copycat apps out there, but this brother had the first one, so go check that out. His name again is Jack Humsey, Humsey. But yeah, and that's it, and that's all. That's my last positive news article this week on the Narrative Podcast. Now, usually I have a current event or a current news topic section, but there's nothing really currently trending in the news that I want to discuss or I feel needs to be discussed as a people. So I'm going to just end it here, and I'm going to ask you guys to join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for supporting. So I'm sending love, light, healing energy over you and everything you got going on in your life right now. And I know you're going to join me this weekend for another full edition of the Narrative Podcast. And then all during the weekday next week, or at least 3 times during the weekday next week, for our weekday episodes of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. Remember to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. So, out of here like last year. Join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrative Podcast. I'm Halsey Allen, and I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm asking you to help me change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time on my end as a narrator, you can change the narrative on your end one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen and Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.